me like a giant as I stand beside her. I live in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. It is the frigid north. It is temperatures that go down to minus 40 degrees Celsius, which is equivalent to minus 40 in Fahrenheit. And in our zoo, in my city, we have an elephant, one elephant, who was captured when she was 2 years old and brought to the zoo from Sri Lanka. We believe, and what happened back then and still happens to this day, when they get the babies, they are not easy to get because the herd will surround and protect them. So we believe that most of these wild captured babies are orphans because their mothers were killed in order to get the very valuable babies. So Lucy came to my city in 1977. She is 48 years old, and she's been there for 46 years. It is heartbreaking to see her, and it is frustrating because the zoo has done a very good job of brainwashing the citizens in my city. So they will refer to Lucy as a geriatric elephant. Now, can you imagine this? She's 48 years old. 10 years ago, they called her a geriatric elephant. And you know what? People believe it because when you look at her, when you watch her walk, she looks very much like a geriatric elephant. So I met Lek several years ago, and my first visit here to Elephant Nature Park was right after she rescued a 97-year-old elephant that Derek spoke about earlier today, Yaibua. And now that's a geriatric elephant, not a 48-year-old elephant. What was amazing about Yaibua was that she was skin and bones, she was full of bullhook wounds, she was weak, and then the transformation started almost instantly. I came back the following year to visit the park, and I was riding on a golf cart with Pom, if you've met her, one of the employees here, and an elephant blew past us. And I looked at that elephant and I noticed a big bulbous sort of wound on her leg, which is what Yaibua had. But it didn't look anything like Yaibua. 1 year later, this elephant had transformed into something just miraculous. And I said to Pom, "Was that Yaibua?" And she said yes. And I couldn't believe it because she ran past us in a golf cart. I look at Lucy back in Edmonton. She's walked through snow and ice. She walks like she is twice the age of Yaibua, if that was possible. And it is heartbreaking. Every step she takes, she looks like she's in pain. So what I would like to ask all of you is that we are seeking worldwide support for Lucy's cause. It's very hard in the city because, as I said, the city has a lot of money. They've done a good job of making the media locally very biased towards their side and making people like me and my organization crazy tree huggers. And, you know, we have this reputation of, you know, I've been told, get a life, you know, are you looking for fame? I'm not looking for that. I would do anything for this elephant to be out of that zoo. Lek has offered for years to come to Edmonton to speak about Lucy. She let us screen Love and Bananas in our city. We brought people in and I gave a PowerPoint presentation about Lucy. And then just this past year, I was absolutely thrilled when Lek reached out to me and said, "Can I come to Edmonton? Can I speak to people in your city and bring my new movie, Elephant Mother?" So I couldn't even believe what I was reading, but I was so honored that she would take the time from this valuable work that she does and all these obstacles she fights to travel to the other side of the world to help this one suffering elephant. So of course we were ecstatic and Lek came, and the events were a real big success. She helped us fundraise for a campaign for Lucy, which has allowed us to put up a billboard on the busiest city street in Edmonton. She appeared on our national news network doing the morning show, and while she talked about her work, she made sure that she also mentioned Lucy. And we just can't say how grateful we are. So I don't want to take up too much time because I can't follow anything that these people do here. It just blows my mind that I'm even invited up to talk to you today. So I'm not going to take that much time, but I'm just going to tell you that you can find out more about Lucy at www.leapforlucy.com. And on Facebook, we have a Facebook group, and it's called Lucy's Edmonton Advocates Project, which is also known as LEAP for short. And so from time to time, we'll have calls to action on there. We'll ask people to email the zoo officials. We will have tweet storms or X storms, if that's what they're called now, and just to spread the word. When I first came to Elephant Nature Park the first time in 2016, I was amazed that people knew about Lucy. When I came back the following year, even more people knew about Lucy. And what's astonishing is we have amazing worldwide support. We lack support locally. We lack support in Canada. And I know there's a lot of people here that are Canadian, and so we would really ask you, in fact, implore you to join us and try and save this elephant before it's too late. One thing I'd like to finish off with is, you've seen and heard the stories about the elephants here that work in the tourist industry, how they're abused, how they're beaten, how they're overworked until they collapse. And yet, they live until they're 80 or even 90. Elephants in zoos don't. The average lifespan of an elephant in a zoo is 45 years old, half the age that they should live to. So many people think zoos are great. Zoos spread awareness, zoos help conservation, and that's what they tell you. But when you look at the numbers, 0.0001% of the profits that they bring in actually goes to help any kind of conservation. And yet they continue to try to breed elephants in zoos because the elephants die, and they die very early. And then they breed and try and breed. So people say, well, that's conservation. It's not conservation if they're not being released back into the wild. You are just they're trying to restock their dying supply of animals. So think twice before you go to a zoo. I don't want to compare what Lucy endures to what some of the things these elephants here in Thailand endure, but it is very interesting to note that she will not likely make it to 50 years old, and yet these abused elephants here do. And the reason that zoo elephants die prematurely generally is two big reasons. They develop arthritis, joint disease, and they develop foot infections. Those are the two biggest killers of elephants in zoos. And that's because they are not walking on nice spongy ground, up the sides of hills. They are standing on concrete all day in a tiny, tiny little area, and it starts to affect their joints and their ability to even walk. They have such a small area, as Derek mentioned. Elephants will want to roam 50, 75 miles a day. Lucy lives in 0.3 acres. Her enclosure inside is 2,200 square feet, about the same, almost the same as my house. And here is this animal that should be roaming for all that, all those miles every day. So she is obese. She's been as much as 1,500 pounds overweight. So that compounds the arthritis and joint disease. Elephants in zoos also live in the wrong climate, like in Canada, or in Russia, or in Europe. They're not living in the subtropical climates that they were intended to live in. So that also causes issues. In Lucy's case, she has breathing problems. We have had experts sign court affidavits when there was court cases for Lucy that were unfortunately unsuccessful that said that the climate in Edmonton is contributing to her breathing problem. We recently uncovered through an occupational health and safety report that I made pretending, I don't want this to sound the wrong way, I'm not gonna say I don't care about people, but I knew they wouldn't care about the elephant. So I made the report expressing my concern for the staff and the living conditions or the working conditions inside Lucy's barn. And I found out through that report that they were putting sand, and Derek talked about the sand beds for elephants. Lucy has a sand bed, but we found out it's silica sand. I'm not sure if anyone's aware of what silica dust does, but it's not that different from asbestos. It causes breathing problems. So I wonder why, in all these years, they have not been able to figure out what's wrong with Lucy's breathing. They have her sleeping on silica sand. They also don't have a proper HVAC system, so there's no filtration in the air. They have instructed the staff now to wear N95 masks when inside Lucy's barn. What mask can Lucy wear? And then the zoo uses her breathing as the reason they can't move her, because she'll die if she's moved. She has these breathing problems, and she's a geriatric elephant. They are causing the breathing problems by the conditions in which she lives. But it's not just Lucy. There's other lone elephants around. You probably have some in your own country. I know of quite a few that exist in the US. So I'd like everyone to really think about it when you buy a ticket. You're actually supporting the suffering of the animals inside the zoo. If places like where I lived use the zoo to be rehabilitation areas for native species, wonderful. Don't bring in zebras and elephants into the frigid climate. So I would ask people not to support zoos, not to buy a ticket, and really think about that. Your kids don't need to see an elephant or any other animal in the zoo to be educated. Do they know a lot about dinosaurs? I know my son growing up knew everything about dinosaurs. He never saw one. So there's a lot of ways they can learn about wildlife without looking at one standing behind bars for committing no crime. A famous elephant conservationist, not quite as famous as this lady here, once said, "What you're seeing in a zoo is not an elephant. You are seeing a tragedy." And it really is the truth. So I have Save Lucy bracelets, and I have business cards. So if anyone's interested, come and see me. You can have a bracelet, and I'd appreciate if you want to join our group. The business cards will tell you how to find us on social media. And I just want to express my thanks to this lady here. I've learned so much from her because she told me many years ago to educate with kindness. And when I first started fighting for Lucy, I had a different viewpoint. And so we would berate the people coming into the zoos and try to make them feel guilty while they had their children with them. And after meeting Lek, it really hit home to me. That's not going to get through to people. Educate with kindness and provide accurate information. We have some activists that exaggerate what happens. That doesn't help either. Be honest, but be kind. And I took that lesson from Lek. And if I could say anything to all of you aside from Lucy, please support the work that the Save Elephant Foundation does. I have just been in awe for years, and I can't believe it every time I come back, what they've accomplished, even more than they had the year before. So please support Save Elephant Foundation. In addition to volunteering, you can all go back home and tell everybody you know not to ride an elephant, not to participate in unethical tourism, and to support the Save Elephant Foundation. Sorry, I'm dry. And thank you for this time. I don't feel worthy of this time, but I appreciate you listening to me. And if you'd like a bracelet and a card, please come and see me. And thank you guys all for your attention tonight. Thank you, Lek. Thank you, Derek. I'll also mention we have a YouTube channel called Lek Edmonton. And if you look it up, you will see this lady in a few videos speaking out about Lucy. You will see this man also speaking out about Lucy. So we have been so grateful for their support. So anyways, thank you again. Thank you, Lek, and thank you, Derek.
As Thank you, Marianne. As Marianne said, Lucy have only a few years left. So please help to bring Lucy out of that to the sanctuary. This Saturday, we would like to ask all of you to help us with the activity to stand for Lucy. We will have all paper, thing that you can write the word and take a picture, and we will show that to the world about your voice. We will let the world to know that this is your voice for Lucy, and let the zoo, let Edmonton Zoo to know that how you feel. You feel free to go to write how is Lucy have to live and to walk out from that situation and to go to sanctuary, because Marianne already prepared the space for her in California, right?
California and Tennessee sanctuaries have offered her a home.
Yeah, even Bob Barker and many people willing to go to help to pay for that, but Lucy never come out. Don't let Lucy die lonely in the zoo like the others. Many of elephants died there. You know, Mali just passed away. Many, and we still have not just Lucy. We have Billy. We have Happy from Bong Zoo. So many elephants that lonely there. So if you can have the voice and speak out for them, and please help to let them out and walk free through that small exhibition, and let them go to stay with friends. They deserve a family like us. So thank you.